Twiggy wasn't born into fame, but she helped define an era the moment her face appeared in the right window. Born Leslie Hornby on September 19, 1949 in the United Kingdom, a working-class area of North London, she never imagined she would become a symbol of the swinging 60s, a cultural revolution, and a multi-decade force in fashion, film, music, and television. She was small, skinny, and unassuming, but that would become her power. In a time when models were expected to be tall, curvy, and grown, Twiggy, named for her twig-like frame, was short, slender, and had a boyish look. Her style was androgynous, her hair cut into a sharp pixie crop, and her signature look included large painted-on lashes that exaggerated her already massive doe eyes. Her transformation from Leslie to Twiggy began in 1966, when at the age of 16 she was photographed by Barry Ladigan, and those photos landed in the window of a Mayfair hair salon. A fashion journalist from the Daily Express saw them and within days proclaimed her the face of 1966. It was that fast. One week she was working in a hair salon sweeping floors, and the next she was in every major fashion magazine from London to New York. Twiggy's face, thin frame, and wide-eyed innocence were a dramatic shift from the previous decade's more mature and voluptuous ideal of beauty. In many ways, Twiggy captured the youthful energy of a new generation that wanted to break free from the past. She became the visual ambassador of the mod movement, a subculture that embraced bold patterns, miniskirts, music rebellion, and self-expression. London was booming, music was changing, and youth ruled culture. Twiggy was the perfect mirror for this new age. She wasn't manufactured by a company or a studio. She was organic, fresh, and relatable to millions of girls who saw themselves in her image. She worked non-stop, not just posing for pictures, but shaping the aesthetic of fashion photography. Her images weren't just about clothing, they told stories, sparked emotion, and reflected the spirit of the time. She had a unique ability to play a character in front of the lens, something that would later serve her well as an actress. At the height of her modeling career, she was on the cover of Vogue, Elle, and every major magazine. Designers like Mary Quaint and Andre Courrèges embraced her look. She worked with top photographers like Richard Avedon and Cecile Beaton. In a time before influencers and Instagram, Twiggy was a global icon. But she never let herself be boxed into one category. Despite being the face of fashion for only a few short years, she quit full-time modeling in 1970 at just 21. Twiggy transformed into other creative worlds. She released albums, showcasing a soft and expressive singing voice that many didn't know she had. Her music wasn't a novelty, she could genuinely sing, and her records charted, particularly in Japan and parts of Europe. Then came film and theater. Her acting breakthrough came in 1971 when she starred in Ken Russell's film adaptation of The Boyfriend. The role was challenging, full of singing, dancing, and physical comedy, but Twiggy nailed it. Critics praised her performance, and she won 2 Golden Globe Awards, one for Best Actress in a Musical or Comedy, and another for Most Promising Newcomer. It was a pivotal moment where she proved she was more than a model. She was an entertainer, a performer with serious talent. Her theater work continued over the decades, both in London's West End and on Broadway. She starred in productions like My One and Only, earning a Tony nomination and cementing her place in live performance. In the 80s and 90s, Twiggy became a familiar face on television, appearing on talk shows, fashion programs, and eventually as a judge on the reality series America's Next Top Model. On the show, she brought warmth and wisdom, mentoring young models while using her own story to inspire them. Beyond entertainment, Twiggy was also a trailblazer in the way she approached aging in the public eye. She didn't disappear when she got older, she evolved. In an industry obsessed with youth, Twiggy modeled for Marks & Spencer well into her 60s, proving that fashion isn't just for the young, and that aging with style is something to be celebrated. She became a spokesperson for natural beauty, self-confidence, and reinvention. Her image and message aged with her audience, many of whom had grown up seeing her on magazine covers, and now saw her as a model for living a full and meaningful life beyond youth. Twiggy's influence also extended into feminism in a quiet but powerful way. In the 60s, she was sometimes criticized for promoting an image that was too thin or unattainable. But Twiggy herself never tried to be a symbol. She was simply being herself, and in doing so, she opened the door for more diverse representations of beauty. She showed that models didn't have to be statuesque and glamorously exotic. They could be quirky, approachable, even tomboyish. She inspired generations of models to bring personality and uniqueness to their work. Her legacy in fashion is felt not just in the photos, but in how she changed what modeling could look like. It became more expressive, more inclusive of different body types and looks, more connected to youth and culture. Beyond fashion, she has been an advocate for animal rights, healthy living, and women's empowerment. She never courted scandal, and her longevity in the spotlight is a testament to her grace, humor, and versatility. Unlike many icons of the 60s who burned out or faded away, Twiggy adapted, evolved, and remained culturally relevant for decades. Her marriage to actor Michael Whitney ended tragically with his early death, but she later found happiness with writer and actor Leigh Lawson, with whom she built a quiet, grounded life while continuing her work. Twiggy also embraced motherhood, raising her daughter Carly and finding balance between public and private life. Over the years, she published autobiographies, appeared in documentaries, and even launched a fashion line. She has been honored with numerous awards, including being appointed a Dame Commander of the Order of the British Empire in 2019 for her services in fashion, the arts, and charity. That recognition wasn't just for her past, but for her continued presence as a role model and artist. What makes Twiggy's story so remarkable is that she didn't set out to become a cultural icon. She was discovered, yes, but she also did the work, made brave choices, and kept pushing herself into new territories. From fashion to film, from music to theater, from judging TV shows to designing clothes, she has worn many hats, always with authenticity and style. Her journey mirrors the changes in society itself, from the liberation movements of the 60s to the evolving conversations about beauty, body image, and female representation. Twiggy has been there through it all, not as a loud shouting voice for attention, but as a constant presence growing with her generation. She didn't just capture the look of a decade, she helped define its spirit. And long after the miniskirts and mod prints faded, Twiggy remained, her influence woven into the very fabric of popular culture. Even today, young models reference her in shoots, designers name her as a muse, and artists try to recreate her iconic makeup. But what they often miss is that Twiggy's real power wasn't her look. It was her ability to evolve, to stay true to herself, and to inspire people by simply living a creative, fearless life. Her story is one of transformation, resilience, and quiet revolution, told not through controversy or spectacle, but through work, reinvention, and joy. She proved that you don't have to be loud to be powerful, that elegance and humility can have just as much of an impact as flash and fame. Whether she was posing for a camera, performing on stage, raising a child, or mentoring young talent, Twiggy led with curiosity and kindness. She never seemed to be chasing relevance, and yet it followed her. She didn't reinvent herself just for fame, she did it because she was interested in growing, learning, and trying new things. That kind of evolution is rare in any industry, but especially in one as fast-paced and unforgiving as fashion and entertainment. Twiggy stood out, not just because of her looks, but because of her spirit, a sense of wonder that never quite left her. She was a teenager when she became the face of a cultural revolution, and yet she managed to stay grounded, curious, and willing to change. That's why her story continues to resonate. It's not just the story of a model, it's the story of someone who helped shape her generation, then grew up alongside it. She didn't cling to the past, she kept moving forward. And by doing so, she gave the world permission to do the same. Like, comment, and subscribe for daily history and culture content.